Oops, I hit go live early. I said I hit go live early. Orientation. All right, well, I guess I'm live. Let Daddy know I'm live. Huh? Let Daddy know that I'm live. I was meaning to do it in like 20 minutes, but I hit the button by mistake. And I didn't want to mess up the link. Hi, guys. Okay, let me see here. Go. Junior, can you give me my,
What?
Can you hand me my tablet that's in the other room right there next to the chair I sit at? I'm live right now, so I want to make sure I can see myself.
I thought you said 20 minutes.
I did too, but then I hit the button by mistake.
Yay. 0 people. Oh, there's 1 person.
Hi. Okay. Let me turn my tablet on. I actually put it to charge earlier today, so put that back on there. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see me okay and hear me okay. I'm gonna check here in a second. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna be making the Mighty Messenger bag, and I'm actually making this for my daughter, Sierra. I actually bought this leather at, let me see. I bought this this here. It's a 2.5 to 3 ounce Studio side hide, and I actually bought this like I think almost 2 years ago at Tandy Leather. It's really nice. I knew that I was going to be able to do something with it because it's a nice color and she really likes green. So we'll do that. Let me see here. Let me go on and see if I can see myself. Yeah, I can see myself. You guys can see me too. Really good. Okay, good. Hi, Just G. Hi, Dwight Jr. Okay. All right, so you guys can hear me very well. Probably going to shift you guys just a little bit this way so you guys can kind of see more of this angle. Since I'm on a few minutes early, oops, I turned it off by mistake. Okay. Just because you guys can see a little bit more that way. Okay. I think that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's much better. Okay. So I've cut out most of the lining pieces. The only thing I didn't cut out was the flat piece and the let's see, the lining flat piece and the electronic zip pocket. I'm sorry, slip pocket. That's the only 2 things I haven't cut out. I wanted to maybe cut that out of some of a fabric that would be a little bit more of a pop of color, because what I'm using is just a regular brown for my lining. Let's show you guys what it is. It's just a very simple brown. It's that thin waterproof canvas with the silver lining in the back. So that got that. So I've got all of my lining pieces with the exception of the flap and the electronic pocket piece. So, and everything else is going to be leather. So here, leather. Okay, I'll show you guys how I do that, and how I use like a little miniature Dremel to skive this a little bit, so that way it's thinner when we're doing this. Okay, all right, so I've got this here so I can see chat. So if anybody comes out and says chat, okay, so it's not too bad. I got 7 more minutes before I technically have to be back on, but that's okay. Okay, so, Sierra, do you think you can eat in the other room?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, because the slurping is driving me. Hello guys, hi. Okay, so we're gonna be making the Mighty Messenger. So let's get doing that, and then I'll have Sierra pick the lining fabric here shortly. I'm trying to use something that I have extra of, so that way in case anybody wants to buy a bag made out of that particular fabric, I don't have just one leftover kind of thing. Okay, so we've got all these pieces here. Okay, so there's only one piece that's just the liner that doesn't need the actual exterior as well. So pattern piece E is a lower gusset lining. It's only the lining. I'm not doing any, hello, I'm not doing any of the woven interfacing because I'm not using a cotton fabric. I'm using a non-stretch waterproof canvas, but it's a very thin, but it's also lined with a silver lining. So, okay, so I'm gonna need 2 pieces of the upper gusset piece, that's the pattern piece C for my exterior. Hi, Heather. Okay, so this is a pocket piece. This is a zipper pocket piece. This is another zipper pocket pro. Hey. And then this is the exterior bottom piece. I never got back to me. I think you said you were going to text me the next day and I didn't hear from you. But then I also didn't reach back out because I had quite a few drinks that night. So, yeah, if you remember, oh, it's okay. If you remember, just send it over to me so I can remember to send that to you or respond to you. Sorry. Okay, so upper gusset, lower gusset. This is a vinyl accent piece or like non-frame vinyl if you were going to be doing that. I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. Flap A, flap is the interfacing and these. So I need all of these out of the exterior. Well, I have a good show. I am going to head to the sewing room to watch this. A lot has happened. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? A lot has happened for a lot of people. It's been amazing. So originally I was going to try to do this one, which is the Adam crossbody bag. But it was a little too small for her, she said. So I was like, okay, well, what do I have already purchased as a pattern that I already have? And the Mighty Messenger by Fierce Kittens. And I'm allowed to record tutorials for her stuff or live or whatever. So Georgia gave me permission to do any of her patterns. So I was like, awesome. I need to make this one as well at 75%. Yeah, 75% is a good size. It's a little bit bigger than the Adam crossbody one, but at the same time, it's not as wide. If that, it's a little wider than that one, but it's not as small as that one. Would make sense. I've done one at 75% and turned out really nice. Okay, so let me go ahead and start laying out the leather and then cutting it out so you guys can see that process. That's really what I wanted to show you guys today. I may get to sewing, I may not, I'm not sure. Just because I really wanted to get you guys to see how I do my cutting out of my leather. Okay. All right. So when working with leather, you're going to want to mark on the wrong side, which is usually the almost like the suede portion of it. So that's the inside of the leather. The outside is finished. You want to look at it and see if you see any marks that are not going to be hidden very well. If there's a mark somewhere that you use like a dent or there's a stamp or something like that, you want to make sure you look for that on the hide itself. So I like to kind of like preview it and kind of like audition it a little bit and see. And so everything's looking pretty good. I don't see any scratches or damages. I see a little bit of blemishes here and there, but I should be able to get that out. But again, I won't be using that anyway, so. All right, so you really want to utilize and use the most of your, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, yay, good. I'm sorry you got laid off, Heather, but I am glad you're hopefully not going through too much of a funk. So I'm just going to go ahead and just roll this the opposite direction because this has been in my sewing studio for a while. So I'm just going to go like that. So this side over here is going to be a lot less blemished. A lot less blemished. Yeah, I printed the pattern piece out last night because I couldn't find where I had it. So I was like, well, I know I have it somewhere. But it's okay. I got this leather from Tandy Leather. And this is what's called a Stuido hide. So it's actually a lot of leather. About 2, maybe 3 years ago. I'm going to say 2 years ago. I'm going to say 2 years ago, but it could have been 3 years ago because I bought it while I was at Tandy Leather with my group when we had our sewing retreat with that Sonova, with Shinova. So, yeah. There we go. Oh, yes. Okay. So, yeah, this side is a lot nicer. Okay. Yes. Okay. I always like to have my bigger pattern pieces cut out first. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to really utilize as much as I can. So over here you can probably get some strap connectors and things like that. There is no grain line with this. So if you're working with leather, you don't have to worry about it being a particular thing. You just have to worry about if it's got any blemishes on it. If it does have some type of a print or something on it, then you can do that too. But this one does not have any of that. Okay. I'm going to use a ballpoint pen, but if for some reason, make sure, yeah, that's good. If for some reason you want to write on the right side of it, then a leather marking pen or leather silver pen will work good as well. So I have a lot of leather tools in here as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start tracing this out. So for my center points, I like to make a line. I'm going to trace this out really, really well. A 2.5 to 3 ounce leather is a nice leather to work with for bag making or anything that you want to make that has a little bit of structure to it but has a nice. Does the silver pen wipe or wash off? Yes, it does. Off the front it does, but then it also smudges. So if you're doing it and you're like moving it around and stuff, it starts smudging and then you might lose your lines. But other than that, you are good to go. All right, so here's another thing that I like to do with this piece here when I'm doing it not on the fold and I'm flipping it over. I like to take a ruler, line it up against that straight line, and then put my pattern piece against it. Sometimes what happens when you're trying to put this here, it could be like you push one end a little bit too much and it just kind of gets a little bit off kilter. So I like to do it like this and really line up that top line with it as well as the bottom one. Okay, there we go. Yep, okay. Just want to make sure it's straight. And I'm overlapping over that center mark because the pen obviously takes up some real estate. So you want to do that as well. If you're going to work with leather a lot, I do not suggest doing things on the fold. Try to get 2 of the pattern pieces and make it into a full piece. Just because a lot of leather patterns do not ever come really on the fold because it's really hard to just get anything consistently on the fold. For cottons and things like that, even vinyl sometimes doesn't quite turn out the right way. But for hi Nicole, hi. Oh, Nika Miller. Sorry, I thought it was Nicole. Sorry, but hi, how are you? Hi, Patty. So yeah, I was gonna come in at 2:30, but then I hit the live button by mistake, and I was like, well, I gotta go. I gotta do it now, and then it wouldn't let me turn, so I'm vertical. So I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do to change it, but you guys can see me, and I can see you, and you can see this, so we're good. Okay. All right. So this is the front. This is the exterior flap. Okay, and then I am going to put this aside because I'm going to I need this for the lining as well, so I'm going to put that over there. All right, so I'm going to cut this out, but I'm not going to cut it out exactly per se because I need a little bit more elbow room and all that kind of stuff, so just bear with me. I'm not going to do too much away from it. There we go. My daughter loves the smell of leather. Right, Sierra?
What?
You like the smell of leather.
Yes.
It's Monica. I just can't get my account right. Oh, hi, Monica. I have yet to sew on leather. Yeah, it's a bit of a learning curve. So, you just have to bear with it. I'm going to make a straight line cut because I'm going to really utilize a lot of these pieces here for my other pieces. Leather is amazing. Hold on a second, let me take this over here. Leather is amazing. I love leather. You can always hand sew leather too. So it's not like vinyl. No, it's not.
Sorry.
It's Monica. Okay, so Monica, I recognize the little head anime thingy that you have there. So I was like, oh, yay, Monica. Okay. All right, so that's this piece here. So this here is the body piece. And I need 2 exterior of this on the fold. That's not going to fit anywhere over here. I'm just going to put this one to the side because that one's not going to fit there. So I'm going to put that right there. I tried once and it didn't work out. We'll try again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to like thin out the leather in the area that you're going to be sewing. And then 2, leather is not like vinyl where you like churn it out and it looks like all nice and everything. Leather has a lot of gluing and or a lot of different steps for you to get it to look really nice when you're sewing it. Yeah, this is a 2.5 to 3 ounce leather patty, so you should be able to sew it on the Conso 226. The 1181 is good too. Hammering. Yes, hammering is another good thing. But if you don't thin this out enough, you can hammer till you turn blue in the face and it's just not going to work out that well. Okay, so this one here says 2 of the exterior. This is the upper gusset pieces. Yeah. You sewed it on your 1181. Yeah, should work out really well there. Okay, so I'm going to try to really utilize as much as I can. Okay. How are the boys, Monica? Are they on Christmas break yet? Yeah, you have to thin the edges. Yep, you have to skive the edges. Skiving is a big part of leather, unless you're getting something that's more like a 1 ounce, and that's like very thin. That's almost like a veneer, right? So it's like literally just the outside of it. It's very, very thin. Friday is the last day. Okay, Friday is their last day, and then they go on break for next week. Okay, so I did that one. Put that over there because over here means to be done. I did 2 of those. Lower gusset pieces. Should be able to get that. Yeah, right here. So see, I'm trying to really get these in where I can fit them. So do that one that way, then I could do the other one this way. That looks good. It's like Tetris. It's like Tetris. You really want to make sure you're using up your real estate properly and cutting things out efficiently. Okay. And then another thing too is with leather, because you can leave it as a raw edge, you do not have to do it as a turned out bag. You can do it that the stitches are on the outside and you finish your edges. So yeah, it can be raw edged. And it doesn't even need to be lined. You could literally just leave it like this and it's just the suede on the inside. But I know my daughter wants pockets and she wants to divide pockets and stuff. So she wants to be able to like put things in places and not things get lost in the bottom of the bag. So this one here is the accent flat piece. I don't think I'm going to do that out of this. I might do it with a piece of black vinyl or something like that, or like stitch around that area to make it look like it's something there, like a faux one. I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I did that. So I also have to account for zip, like tags and things like that. So I'm not gonna give out measurements, but strap connectors. Okay. I'm gonna get my little strap connectors from over here. From right here. There it is. And the good thing about this is you can really, if you don't have the hardware size pieces that you need, you could always do like a connector piece that you reduce it down, kind of like what Lynn's did with the math pack. Okay, let's make it, let's make that just a little tiny bit shorter, which is totally fine. All right, that looks good. Okay, so here are some more informational type of things that you can do. So when you need to skive, okay, I highly recommend that you draw out your seam allowance so you know how far to skive, especially the way I do it, because I don't have a skiver. I don't have enough room in here personally, and or an extra $2,000 for a skiver. So I just don't have it like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out a 1/2 inch on the inside of all these pieces. And this is just chalk. So then that way I can use my little Dremel to do my skiving. It's so fun. Okay. I love this ruler. This is the ruler that Tori gave me last year in the package pal thing that she sent me last year. I'm gonna do 1 inch down on this one. You could do it with a regular pen. It doesn't have to be with this. But for me, for cutting out wise, I don't want to like, oh, oops, and I cut the wrong one. So different color texture will make it better. For me, personally, because sometimes I won't be thinking. And then also, just so you don't get confused with different pattern pieces, you could put the pattern piece letter on here. I just dropped right and broke a corner. I have to replace. Oh, you dropped your roller? Yeah, I did that with another one a while ago. I do that all the time. Okay, so this one here is the. Just want to make sure. Yeah, so this is D. I'm gonna put D right on there, and then this one is D. Okay. Just gotta make sure, you know what I mean? Okay. I'm going to the basics, so hop on a different laptop. Okay. That sounds like fun. Yay. Okay. Sounds like fun. It's been a while since I've been. Like I came on last week, the week before last. I don't remember. For the first time in a while, I made my daughter's clutch bag on the live that week. And that was just like a really like quick like rush type of thing. I don't have to have this done by Christmas. It's mostly just sometimes you watch later. So you have motivated two of us level up. I know, right? Yeah. That's the best way, really. Connectors. So these are sharp connectors. I love it because and for the connectors themselves, I just like to leave a strip down the middle. That's not skived to keep it a little bit more firm, but really around all the edges, I don't really want a lot, especially if it's being folded into itself. Telling you guys need to hop on more. I can motivate you some more, right? If I hop on some more. And this is also why I just do my marking on the back, because then I could do the marking on the back for my skiving. And if I mess something up, it's on the back, not the front. Okay, so this is pattern piece C. Yep. It was nice timing, so I had something to watch while sitting in carpool. Oh yeah! How is carpool? How's the carpool life? I don't miss it. But how is carpool life? Because I'm telling y'all. Whew. I remember those days. I used to fall asleep sometimes in carpool. I should just be sitting there forever. But I'd also be there like almost like 45 minutes early. I don't miss carpool. I get here earlier, waste a bunch of my gas in line. Yeah, I got there early and then would just sit there and wait until that's interesting. Like a little knot there. And I would just sit there and wait until the line started moving. And then that way I'd be towards the front. Okay. What else am I doing really? I'll bring my crochet workbook. Yeah. Yeah. Knocks, naps. Yeah. So when Sierra was in elementary school, Dwight Jr. was born when she started kindergarten. So the entire time she went to elementary school, he was pretty much with me in the carpool line, in the back seat, and he would be sleeping. So, yes. Alrighty. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, so now it's time to cut. Here is a little nuance about cutting. You can cut this using a rotary cutter and an acrylic ruler with a self-healing mat, a self-healing mat. You can also use a self-healing mat and use a utility knife or an X-Acto knife. You just have to be careful because if you have your hand here and it slips or something, just be careful. You can't really use a utility knife or an X-Acto knife with one of these rulers because the blade kind of like nicks on the side. I've tried it. I have ruined several of my really nice rulers trying to do it that way. So just to let you know, it's pretty much just like a hand kind of like just going kind of thing. They also have very specialty leather cutting things out there. I used to have one. I don't know if I have it anymore. I might still, I don't know. Leather ruler. Not ruler, but cutter, like scissors. Probably not. Okay. Ooh, I can do the accent colors. Sierra, do you think I can do the accent colors in that brown leather that's out there? I have a piece of brown leather outside in the garage.
Yeah, probably.
You want me to go?
You want me to go looking for it?
Yeah. It's right there as soon as you walk in.
I'm gonna go get it, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So I do have a self-healing mat. Geronimo!
In this box?
No, it should be sticking out.
Okay. Like on the big black shelf?
Yeah.
The white shelf, the big black shelf.
Yeah. Like it's literally a roll. Hold on, guys. I need to get my. Okay. We've got my ruler and this guy.
No, this is what?
You're back on, Patty. What?
I got the wrong thing, that's all.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can do a straight line these days.
This.
Yes. Yeah, I think that'll look nice for an accent. It's literally just a small piece on the side. Yeah. I've had this leather forever, and this one I got like on discount because it has a lot of like little things on it. But this is also a 2.5 to 3 ounce leather. So we'll get back to that and see if I can do some fancy things on the. Okay, so this is not even cutting through. Baby, what are you doing? Go back. You know you're not allowed in the kitchen, honey. Don't get in trouble. Alright, let me see here. Oh, poor babies. I have my sewing area, that's better. I have my sewing area in the dining room, but it's an open dining room to the kitchen. And because Sierra does cooking in the kitchen for like just practice and things like that, we try to make sure that it's kosher and make sure that she doesn't get in the kitchen. You got your squeakers? I'm sorry. Junior, can you come out here with Luna and play with her for a few minutes, please?
I tried playing with her. She doesn't want to.
Well, maybe she wants to go outside.
Probably.
She might want to go outside and play. I didn't mean to not. I didn't know you were still there. It was so quiet.
Yeah, no, I was there, and she brought me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to go outside, but she brought me her little like tube thing. Talking to mommy, that's what I'm doing. The tube thing, it was almost like a soda can.
Mhm.
She brought me that, and I
So
threw
she
it
did
twice.
squeak it. Yeah.
I threw it twice, and then after I threw it the third time, she just.
Didn't bring it back.
So how are you not going to outside with her? I don't know, right? Because mommy called you, that's why.
Do you think you can take her outside, Junior? Thank you.
So I should have something. Out the door.
You're back on, Patty. I am too. All right, so I'm gonna just use my utility knife, and what I like to do is just hold it up here and then cut. Like just even, straight cut. You might ask yourself, okay, so does that mean I have to have really steady hands? Yes, unless you use a rotary cutter. And sometimes even with a rotary cutter, you have to really dig in. So I don't know. But see this big piece here? I could probably make a matching wallet. Might be able to do that. She needed a way to carry her stuff with her to school, to the college, and when she goes out places.
Yes, I'm going back in my room.
Okay.
Yes, what are you?
Okay, so let's do this way.
I just took her outside. She didn't do anything. She come back to the door.
She's so pitiful. She's just there looking at me. She loves me very much and just hangs out over there. Okay. Hi. Okay. For paper?
For tape.
Oh, okay. It's right there, baby. See it? You making your stars?
Yeah.
Let Daddy know we're gonna leave here about 4:30 to go to Grandma's.
Okay.
Junior, make sure you pack up your game, baby, so we can play the game. Okay. I'm gonna keep this little piece as a hump jumper. So you don't like, technically have to have like a real hump jumper. But I like to have something that I can have like 2 layers, 3 layers, and then that way I can jump. I didn't even know this thing was on. I'm gonna turn it off because I might hit the pedal by mistake, and that would be no bueno. Okay. Just want to see if I saw anything on here. It's harder when you don't have something to like hold on to start it. So sometimes you have to start kind of halfway. Okay. Please don't need. I can use this one also for a hump jumper. Okay, so I'm gonna go as straight as I can. And I can also do this sitting down. Whereas sometimes I have to stand up with rotary cutters just to get leverage. Poor baby. Okay. A nice sharp box cutter goes a long way with leather. Might do something with that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay. I'll come back to you. Oh, hold on. That doesn't quite want to have the leverage. Okay. Boom, boom. Okay. That's a nice piece right there. Okay, so I'm gonna do all my straight bits, and then do the curves little by little. It's very much like you see on those TikToks and stuff. Coming into it on a curve makes it good. Okay. I'm gonna have to cut this way because I like to have the majority of the pattern piece to my right. I don't know why. I just seem to cut straighter that way. I'm going to Grandma's tonight for dinner and playing board games. Okay, and bam. Got that. Alright, this is another good piece. Put that to the side. Alright, so we have our side pieces, our flap, upper gusset, lower gusset, strap connectors here. And then what we need now is the main body piece. So we grab the leather to get those pieces because that's going to be this piece here. I was like, where did it go? It's right here. Alright, so this little bundle goes up here, and I will make sure to show you guys how to do the skiving. So we can do that. Alright. Oh. I just need 2 pieces of this. On the fold. Okay. If I already have a straight edge, I like to use that straight edge. Okay. Patty, what are you going to be working on? Last I heard, I thought you were done with all of your Christmas sewing, but you could have come up with something else. There you go. Okay, let's mark out the I don't have more. There we go. If you're just coming on, I am marking out my seam allowance on the pattern pieces so that I can skive it down to that mark. She's so beautiful. Okay. Alright, so now that I've done that, now I'm going to cut these pieces out and then I will show you guys how I do my skiving by hand with a small Dremel tool.
No, man.
No, Luna. I can't play right now, baby. I'm on a live. I'm on YouTube. Okay. My poor girl. Now, I could have just cut this off as a hunk, like I did before. But honestly, I didn't think about it because I got a little distracted. There we go. I don't quite like doing it this way, but sometimes I gotta get really close to the edge to make it a little bit of a straighter piece. It's not the best, but you won't be seeing that. Okay, so there's that one. No, maybe I'll make a tassel or something. Oh, she being sassy, huh?
She doesn't want me to stop petting her.
Oh, yeah.
She's curled up right next to me.
And then... Okay, so you can probably see why I said that it'll probably smudge if you do it from the front and you're like doing it just because you have to, me personally, I really have to have the leather kind of stay put and not slip up on me, so I like to keep it with some pressure. And I have just found the silver marking pens are great for marking things like placements of things, marking things on the front if you want to do some kind of a quilting thing. But when it comes to actually doing the cutting and then stuff like that, it just rubs right off before I get to it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go get my Dremel tool and then show you guys how I do my skiving by hand with my Dremel tool. So hold on just a second, I'll be right back. Here you go, girls. Okay. She put her paw back. Did you see her?
I did not.
She put her paw. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. You're doing good, girl. Yeah. Good girl. Stay right there. All right. So Dremel tool. So this is just an off-brand nail Dremel tool that I actually use to do my nails. I do my own nails. So what I do is I just replace this drill bit, okay, with one of these. So each one is a different grit. Oh, I messed that up. Save. Okay. That could have been a disaster. So each one has a different grit to it. This one's more like a polishing grit. This one's a little bit of a medium polish one, and then this one is like really tough, and that's like for like peeling things off. So this is what we're going to be using. We're going to be using the thicker grit. And that's 80 grit. Just so you know. It's 80 grit. Yep. Okay. And so I have my Dremel, and my Dremel has that it rotates in different directions, left to right or right to left, and then it has 3 speeds. So what I like to do is turn it on. And I'm sorry, it has 2 speeds, and kind of get a gauge, like which direction it's going in. Hold on, I didn't put it all the way in. There we go. You want to make sure that it's all the way on to the Dremel attachment, the shank. Okay, so you can use the edge of this, or you can use your mat, however you would like it. So, but I like to have this kind of be off a little bit, so I have some leverage for it to kind of like go on, and I just go like that.
No.
Now the lower speed, you have to kind of like do it a couple times. I'm gonna put that speed up, and you can really see how it's just taking that off. Okay, and I'm gonna go the other direction because I think that direction's not quite. Oh, that's better. Bless you, babies. Bless you.
No.
And this is just like when you're sanding something with like wood or anything like that. It just takes off a little bit at a time, so you do have to really take your time to do this, but you don't have to buy a whole new expensive tool. Now also for me, I have done the plug-in ones, and those are good, but for me, I'm a little intimidated by that thing that I'm gonna like scrape my finger. This one I can hit my finger and I'm not gonna hurt myself. So does it take longer? Yes. But at the same time, I'm not scared I'm gonna hurt myself. Can I help you? Okay. And you'll start seeing where it changes color. The deeper you get in, the darker it's gonna get. Just kind of keep doing that. Sometimes the leather places will have scrap pieces of leather that you can kind of like, you know, ask them, okay, what's the difference between a 2 and a 3 ounce leather, or a 2.5 and a 3.5, or a 4 to 5 ounce leather, and see, you know, if any of those you can do on your machine without having this guide. But it's just good practice, really. If you find holding it like this is uncomfortable for you and you want to hold it more like this, like a pencil, you can do that. Like I said, you don't have to worry about it cutting you. You could hold it like that. It does feel a little weird though, I can honestly say. Is it getting a little bit more cut into it? Yeah. It does feel weird. And you are going to go through several of the Dremel, what are they called? The sanding bands. I'll have to look for it for a second. You're going to go through a few of them. Because it will get dull and it won't be quite as effective to continue to use the same one. It's just like when you use an emery board for your nails. Same situation. After a while, it just doesn't do it as well anymore. And with this method, you don't have to worry about overdoing a particular spot because it does take a little longer. Sometimes when you're skiving with the skiving machine or you have one of those splitters, it can cut the leather. I've done that a few times. I've done that a few times and messed up. So leather's too expensive to be messing it up. So that's why I like this. It takes time. I'm not gonna lie, it takes time. It's messy, it takes time. If you have like one of those little vacuums that you have a handheld vacuum, that would be really nice to have. Just to kind of help clean the dirt a little bit, you can get one of those handheld little vacuums, little dirt devils. Okay, dirt devils, good. Anything else like that? Back, Luna.
In the back.
Oh, drop something. Oh yeah, she's got a wild tail. Okay, let me turn this off for just a second. Okay, and this is rechargeable as well. So it's a
Go get it.
USB-C
Go get it.
charge, so you can recharge it. Usually when I'm just doing my nails, I don't have to charge it for like a while.
Go get it.
So hopefully you guys can start seeing the difference of the portion that I have skived versus the portion that I haven't skived so far. What you're wanting to do is to make sure that when you fold it over, the thickness is just not as thick, because you don't want it like 2 layers together. You don't want to having to do more work when you're sewing and or mess up your sewing machine. So go like this, and then I have a trash can right there. So that's one way to do it. Now, another way you could do it is you could get a craft knife, and you can go and then either towards yourself or away from yourself, and then just slowly scrape at that. This one's not as messy, but you might cut yourself, or you might, do something to the leather. So just be careful with that. And it's kind of like shaving, right? It's like shaving with an open blade shaver. And using the edge of the cutting mat so that my hand has somewhere to land, and it's up at a level so that it's not against the table and then I'm cutting into like this, right? It's slicing it at an angle. I can say this way does put more strain on my hand. It's not as messy because it kind of like all stays together. Yeah, Melissa. Hi, how are you? So this direction kind of, it just puts more strain on my hand. So you could do it either way. And I think, let me see if I have a replacement blade. I think this blade's kind of getting dull. And that's also why it wasn't able to really cut the leather the way I wanted it to, and I had to go with the utility knife. With a utility knife, you could do the same thing.
No, it's not in there. Luna, come. Go get it.
Yeah, that's better.
Go get it.
Just literally, are you, Rob? Are you using real leather? I just got here. Hi, Melissa. Yes, this is real leather. And I walked through on how to trace pattern pieces down on the leather, how to really just kind of like make sure to do like a Tetris type of thing with it, marking on the leather, cutting your leather, and then now we're going into skiving without a skiver. They have like fancy tools out there. This works just as well. I have bought a lot of those leather skiving tools and splitters and things like that, and they don't really work as well without sometimes doing it to the point of cutting the leather. Yeah, you gotta rewatch it to see the beginning. Yep, so we're going through just step by step what I do to prep my leather for sewing. And this is a process. Like I said a little while ago, I personally do not need to have this done in time for Christmas. She doesn't go back to school until the 4th, I think, if I'm not mistaken, of January, is when she goes back to school, and this is when she needs it for. Need one of those little brushes. Little. Okay. Alright, so around here in the curve, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that as well with the knife. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. I got a couple of people to be inspired, and they are sewing along with me. I don't know if they're actually doing the same bag or not, but I know a couple people are sewing along, doing something while they watch and listen to me. Because a lot of this process is time consuming. The best way I had to think of it, I'm like, how do I say this? It is time consuming. We're just taking the layers down little by little. This is a 2.5 to 3 ounce leather. And just where the seam allowance is where I'm skiving. Because that's where you want it to get thinner so that you can yeah, I like it towards me a little bit better. You just kind of have to work with the way it feels more comfortable to you. This is a rotating mat. I have had this rotating mat for almost 10 years. Back when I started quilting, when I did a lot of those little intricate little things and cutting pieces and stuff, and I would turn and cut. I really found that this worked really well, and I have been using it ever since on a lot of things like this that I could just do a small project at once. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to have it so that when you fold it over, it's close to the same thickness as the just one piece by itself, because that's what it's going to be like when you have two pieces together. So this way here, I can sew through that, but I won't be able to do much of like a top stitch or anything like that with it being that thick. So that's what it is. And then I also showed you guys the Dremel, the Ellie wallet. Who's that again? Who makes the Ellie wallet? Okay. Cranking it up as high as it goes. being naughty.
Yeah.
She's trying to chase squirrels.
She doesn't do anything.
And this is just a handheld. Oop, you gotta hold on to it. A handheld nail Dremel. And I'm using a Grit 80 sanding band on my Dremel. But I just showed you that you can do it without having to have this Dremel or a skiving machine or any other like fancy leather tools, right? You do not need to go out and get a bunch of stuff that you do not need. When there is a will, there is a way. I'm very thrifty when it comes to that. Sophisticated crafts, yes, yes. Is that the new wallet that came out? That I think Barb did on her channel a couple weeks ago or last week. I know there was one wallet. I was like, oh, that's a nice wallet. Okay, this grit is still good. Got it on the highest speed. This does not hurt my hands nearly as much as using the utility knife or the craft knife. It's a little messier for sure, but it doesn't put a lot of strain on my hand. And when it meets a lot of resistance, it stops. See that? It stopped, and then when I lift it up, then it continues to go. That's more like a safety mechanism on the nail Dremels. So then that way, in case you get stuck on something or something's really hard, you can't just cut into it. It is the new one. I'm obsessed. I think I have 15 cut out that are really easy to put together. Oh, okay, good. See? I love that. I have told myself I'm not buying any more patterns or anything, so I've gone through all the patterns that I have now, and use what I have pretty much. Just because I have so many patterns cut out and, you know, just ready to use, and a lot of them are in storage. But I really want to get to the point where I really can like look up a pattern, cut it out, and sew it without having to read every direction verbatim, kind of thing. Just to get a little bit more used to those patterns. I love Shannon's patterns from Knotted Thread Co. I love her patterns. I love Tori's patterns. I really enjoy her patterns, obviously. And Fierce Kittens. Georgia, she does great with her patterns. And so does Lauren from Mormio. I think those are like my go-to ones. I have really found that a lot of the swoon patterns are really written more for canvas and quilting fabric kind of situations. So I've tried doing them out of vinyls and things like that. And they don't, for me, they don't turn out just the way I envision them to, if that makes sense. Because it is different. It's a different medium, so therefore it will have a different structure, it will have a different look to it. So knowing what you're going to be using, how you're going to be making the bag out of, or the wallet, or anything else like that, really makes a difference as to like what the designer designed it to be used with. So okay, it's looking so much thinner already. So I've got a little bit more over here, and then that top piece to do, and then this piece will be ready, and it'll be already skived. And it goes in different directions too, so if you feel you're not quite getting what you want out of it going one particular direction, turn the direction. It might work better that way. Yeah, like I said, this one's a little messier, may take a little longer, but I personally like the fact that I can hit myself with this thing and it's not cutting me. Like, I leave it on there, it's gonna hurt me, obviously. It's gonna do exactly what it's doing with this leather. It's gonna take my skin off, but just an accidental brush or anything like that is not going to create a cut or hurt myself, because I'm very accident prone, so I like to make sure that I don't do things that are gonna hurt myself. Okay, so this way. Ooh. Okay, so I got about 15 more minutes, and then I'll be going off my live so we can get ready to go to grandma's house. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask me while I'm doing my skiving, go ahead and ask it here, or in the comment section later of a replay. That's totally fine as well. I bought this Dremel on Amazon. I'll try to include it in the comment section, a link to it in case you guys want to grab it, along with the different pieces of the band, sanding bands. Got some more right here to do. Yeah, Melissa, you got a lot of them cut out, huh? I do that a lot too. I have to really think ahead of what I want to make for my lives now because I don't have the fabrics or materials just sitting in a room. I have to go to storage to get them, so I really have to plan this stuff out. Which many of you will know does not really go with my method of just, let's do live, you know? Last minute kind of like, hey, let's do this. And while I have a few minutes, I will show you how I use the other Dremel sanding bands here in just a second. Just as like a quick little example. So I have a few minutes before I have to get off. We've got 10 minutes left. Okay. First, let's clean. Okay. That's so much better. You can see where I have skived or just sanded away the edges. So this is the one that I have yet to skive or do anything with. And then this is the one that I have skived. So you can see the difference. I just mark out where I need to go to for my seam allowance and then I skive it. Yes, I'm gonna have to sweep really well here in a second. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn that on. Oops. And then I'm gonna grab a piece over here. And you could cut by hand. Nobody ever says that you have to do it a different way. You don't have to cut it with the utility knife. It is a lot harder to cut leather. Letting you know. Okay, so I'm going to just use this as an example for when I put two pieces together. I am going to use some double-sided tape. Okay. So you can see now it has pretty much doubled. So it's gone from a 2.5, 3 ounce leather to a 5 to 6. Okay. So there it is sewn together. Okay. There's different ways you can sew leather together. There's this way where it has the exposed raw edge. I like this way because I can finish the edge and it looks really nice. A lot of times some people will do the method in which they will put the two sides together, the two pretty sides together, and then do the turn around method. Okay. Like the turn inside out method, like you do with a lot of vinyl bags. Just a little bit more tape. I'm trying to be informative for you guys in case you have any questions that might pop up. So earlier I had discussed how when you put these pieces together with leather pretty sides together and then turning it out, it doesn't quite look as nice. It's still doable. It obviously will look better when you skive it. I just don't want to skive it now since I've only got like 5 minutes. Just for time. So as you can see, the machine is able to go through 2 layers of excuse me, of leather. It is able to go through that. I'm just gonna take that piece off. Okay, so I've got my double-sided tape that's just coming out this side just because that was a 1/2 inch and I only did a 1/4 inch. I'm sorry, that was 3/8 of an inch, and this all I needed was a 1/4 of an inch. But there you go, comes right off. It's not the hyper one, it's the one that I sell. Okay, so then when you turn it out like this is where people are like, okay, so when I turn it out, it just looks big and bulky like that. Like it just looks, right? Not that great. So what a lot of people do is they will butterfly this seam. Now that's harder to do on a curve. So just keep that in mind. So that's why I like this method, especially if I'm doing a curve. I now remember why I don't like doing the double-sided tape on this portion. Okay, so it's like this, right? And you have to butterfly that. What that means is you're going to take this seam, open it, and then top stitch. And that's a way to finish it to make it look nice and polished. Now the problem comes in when you try to take this seam, this piece, and then attach it to something else, where now this intersection here can get kind of thick. But you see how that looks nice now? And you can hammer this seam down if you want to make everything. Hi, Jane. So look like that. Okay. So with this one here, I'm going to show you how I polish this off so that this seam looks really nice and it's ready to do the coat. What you call it, coat? Edge coat. Okay, there we go. Now all I did was just even out that edge with the seam allowance. Okay, I'm going to get my polishing one. So the blue is an 80 grit, so I'm going to use the purple for this one. The purple is the 150 grit. Okay, so the higher the grit number, the thinner and finer it is. So take this off, throw that away. Put on the new one. Okay, and then you're gonna hold it, and then you can take that and just even everything out. That's all I'm doing is just evening it out. This is kind of the same thing you would do with the sandpaper. This is just a little easier for me. So it makes it nice and smooth and level so that when you go to put your base coat on for your edge coating, it looks nice. Okay. Edge coat. So this one here is Ghirardini Max Edge Basic Edge Paint. So this is actually the what we'll consider like a primer and the color together. So that's why I like the Ghirardini, because it comes together really fast, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so now that I've got that nice and it applies nice and evenly with just one coat. I didn't sand down there. So that's how it looks like now. So it's nice and an even coat. I like to do a nice thin coat, let that dry, repeat with this. And then at the end, I like to do the top, the base coat. So there's a base coat and there's a top coat. Hold on. This is the top coat. So sometimes you can find it that the base coat is just like a clear milky one, but the Ghirardini one has the color in it already, the tint. Make sure that's nice and dry. And I'll show you how I do the next one. It's nice. It's a little tacky, but it's not transferring onto my hand. I don't have any more of those tubes. I've sold them all. I can get more, but they will not have my logo on them. It will just be plain. Okay, did the second coat. And you want to apply 3 to 4 coats because you really want it to build on itself. So give it that nice edge. But that's how that looks like. They're kind of cool, huh? I think I'll probably just do one of just edge coating for you guys and do a time lapse on it as a tutorial rather than a live because it takes way too long for this stuff to dry on a live for you guys to really see it. But this is how pretty much how you do, you know, you're finishing your edges kind of situation. Like imagine that's the side seam of the bag. And then this is the side seam of the bag. Quite that thick because the tape is together. go. And so see that's the side, and even with that, I would cut that down to be more like 1/8 of an inch closer. So it's closer to the stitches. So there's not as much sticking up from, there's not too much of a seam allowance coming out. So, but I wanted to just have you guys see what the differences were. And this is not skive. So if I can do this on this one, which is kind of like a Juki 8700, there's no walking foot, no compound foot, nothing like that. Then with 2 layers, you could get away with doing 2 layers of a 2.5 to 3 ounce leather, even without skiving. It looked much better with skiving. Just still a little tacky. And then what I would do is after I finish all that stuff, before I put on my last top coat, is I would take this and I would take it down to the 240 pink one, because that's more of like a polishing one, and that's when I would do the edge with the polishing one after that as well. So that way it gives me a nice clean edge surface and put on the top coat. All right, and then after that, really just get a scrap of the leather and just really shine it up, really shine it, and those edges will be nice. So I'll try to do a time-lapse tutorial for this information if you aren't able to watch the entire live. But yeah, and we are done today. Hope you guys have learned a lot. If you have any questions or recommendations on something that you would like to have me do on either a live or a tutorial, just let me know. I'm open to the feedback and suggestions at any time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, because sharing is caring. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Next week is Christmas, so hopefully you guys have finished all of your sewing projects for that time, but if not, good luck. Godspeed. And I'm sure you'll get it done. All right, guys, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye.